We've got Eric Dadmehr. Is that how you say it, Eric?
Perfect. That's actually perfect.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Dadmehr. And I just snagged him from where we're at. We're at the BioMed Expo here in Las Vegas, also along with the Alien event that we have been creating now. Eric, you've been a part of this BioMed Expo now for how long?
Well, I met Said in the 80s, and I've been working with him since 2013.
Wow. Well, if you're not familiar with BioMed Expo, it brings many people from all walks of life, if you will, to helping raise the human consciousness and to raising our vibration in any facet that we can get our hands or brain wrapped around. Any tools that can help us in this world, mind the fields of chaos in this world. We definitely are open to hearing what it is that's out there. And BioMed brings speakers like Eric and all of his knowledge and experience within the worlds of aliens, extraterrestrials, high frequency, radiation, all of what we're all talking about in today's world, right? And so, Eric, I just want to open up the can of worms on where you're headed and what you're doing in this world and how we can learn from you.
I love inspiring people. I'm better known as Eric the Healer.
Eric the Healer,
And
I love
people
that.
people know me as Eric the Healer, and they could Google me and find me, and it's easier. But then Eric Dadmehr, to remember Dadmehr is like in the Iran is Dadmehr, but it's all we're not in Iran. My dad's Iranian, my mom's Norwegian.
And you would look, if you
first
can see him,
generation.
he does not look like he's from Iran,
they
so,
don't. Well, there's some blonde hair,
Yeah.
green-eyed people.
Yeah.
And that's where the first white race, the Aryan race, where Iran gets their name.
Right.
And then my mom is Aryan Norwegian. So really, I'm even though I'm half breed, I'm pure Aryan. But I was born in California, Sacramento, but I grew up in Iran. So I was about 9, and then I came back, and I learned a lot of interesting health tricks, and everything was organic, and food is your best medicine, and they knew how to mix foods and food combining, and not to eat. You eat melons alone, otherwise you leave them alone, because melons don't mix with other foods. Little things like that.
Yeah, not the average person would understand.
Right, and they have like hot foods and cold foods, but it has nothing to do with temperature. You just can't mix them, like cherries with dairy products,
Yeah.
because you get a reaction in your stomach, and so it's a lot of
that's
old knowledge. After thousands of years they've been doing it, they learn these things, and so you don't eat, you eat your salad after your meal, like in Europe. You don't eat your salad before the meal. You want the roughage to wash down the food,
And that's why we feel like gross, if you will, in the gut when we eat salad. If on an empty stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the start our meal. I've always wondered that as well.
Yeah.
And so what Amelia's Wings of Wellness does is it brings people like you that has this knowledge to utilize resources that our earth brings us naturally, rather than the synthetic versions of what Big Pharma is bringing into the hospitals or not hospitals, but I call them death buildings and death camps, if you will. So I got introduced to you at the last BioMed Expo where you were talking about how to actually do a liver cleanse so that your body benefits off of this. And I want you to explain a little bit more on what is a liver cleanse and what is it
Once
doing?
I learned about the liver cleanse, I realized that it's the great place to start, because it affects every cell in your body, and every disease is related to the health of your liver. And once you learn about the bile, the magical bile fluid, and how important it is to keep your liver clean, because if you don't take out the garbage, it starts to sink. And when there's the garbage trash men go on strike in New York, the garbage piles up, and these big rats come out, and it stinks. And if it's in the summer, the smell. And once you learn how to detox using Epsom salt, olive oil, and lemon juice, that's all you need. And it only takes a day, less than 24 hours even, maybe. But basically, when it's new moon, like right about now, you fast on the day of doing your cleanse, and you don't eat anything. And preferably, even you could start before, a week or two before, drinking unfiltered apple juice or no sugar added apple juice and black cherry juice because of the malic acid. And it breaks up the kidney stones, the gallstones. And the gallstones aren't necessarily in the gallbladder, they're in your liver. And they don't show up. Doctors don't recognize it. They don't recognize these stones. It doesn't show up on x-rays. And so when you do this cleanse, though, basically you don't eat on the day of your fast, when hopefully new moon. Then I do it. The book that I use for the information, Andreas Moritz, Moritz, he has an excellent free PDF book, free online, you can download. And in that book, they say to drink a glass of water, which is about 6 to 7 ounces of water, with a tablespoon of Epsom salt. And you mix it well, and you do that. At the book, it says 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock p.m. before you go to bed at night. And that's to open the liver ducts. And then when you're ready to go to bed at 9 or 10, they suggest, those times, you take a glass of olive oil mixed with lemon juice. You want to use 4 ounces of olive oil and 6 ounces of lemon juice. Make sure you have, I like to squeeze the lemons and get the fresh juice, but make sure you buy a high quality organic juice, and because if you don't, it won't be a good flush, and it really makes a difference. You can also substitute it with grapefruit juice, and what you're doing is triggering your liver to excrete 1.5 quarts of bile, and when it does, it flushes out these stones that you've softened with the malic acid of the black cherry juice and the apple juice. So the important thing that's very important is when you drink that olive oil and lemon juice, you have to get horizontal, meaning go to bed and get sideways, because for it to do its action and work. So make sure you wash your face and let out the dogs or cats or whatever, and do all your chores and do that last. So that's the last thing you do before you go to bed and get sideways. And so I should be doing a liver cleanse right now, but I'm not, because I'm co-producing this conference here, BioMed Expo, and also the alienevent.com. And so I have to be on call and run around and speak, and I'm doing panels.
Right. Oh, yeah, you don't want to be going to the bathroom.
Right,
all the
right.
time. So, yes, and it only puts you out for about a day?
Well,
right, doing
that's
that,
the night.
so?
When you go to bed, the next morning when you wake up, you're going to have a wonderful bowel movement. You're going to see the stones that come out. It's going to flush the stones out. And already before, you're going to just go water, to the bathroom water, because you're doing the Epsom salt, and that's clearing the path to get ready to get rid of the gallbladder stones. And then the next day, as soon as you wake up, I like to wake up early because by now I want to eat, breakfast, So I wake up early and go back to bed. I wake up early at 5 a.m. and then have my glass and with tablespoon of Epsom salt, and then I go back to bed, wake up again on the phone. I put the alarms, and 2 hours later, see, the day before, I do it instead of 6 and 8 like in the book. I do it at 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock every 3 hours, because I really want to flush and get it ready. And then also, I put a tablespoon of Epsom salt in the olive oil and lemon juice to again open the liver ducts. And I notice when I do that, I get a really nice flush of stones. And then the next day, all you have to do is 3 more glasses of Epsom salt, but every 2 hours. And after the third one, you can start eating again an hour after the third time. So whatever time you wake up, I wake up at 5, 7, 9. That means at 10 o'clock I can start eating again. So
not bad, and you feel amazing afterwards, right?
Yeah. So you feel it clears your mind. You got the brain fog cleared,
Right. Yes.
and you'll lose 10 pounds.
Right.
You
Just
lose
by
10
getting
pounds
rid
just
of
by
all
this.
that toxins.
Yeah. just
crap.
by not eating
Literally.
and flushing, and it's amazing. It's
Yes.
really amazing, and you feel good. You feel clean.
And the important thing is these are all ingredients that we all have access to. It's not something you have to go get a prescription for. It's not something you need a
Right.
health advisory for. This is
Right.
absolutely something that everybody needs to be doing, and really on a consistent basis. Because if we want to give our body that foundation to thrive in, to live, to be as old as we would like to be, right? We want to
Right.
do that living in a well state of mind and body and everything. And so, what
Once
an
you
easy
clean,
way.
oh, it's perfectly said, because you when you have a higher quality of life, and you've done you keep detoxing, you do this every month on a new moon, it's just gets better all the time.
And this is for everybody, because you don't have to be sick or ill, whatever it
Even
is.
if you have your gallbladder removed.
Even if you've done that, especially if you've had your
Yeah.
gallbladder removed, you want to be detoxing. And so that, when we are getting the new enzymes in us and we are getting the new cells, ignited, we're now creating and duplicating healthy cells instead of these yucky, depleted, exhausted, if you will, liver cells that are.
And the bile, what we're doing is getting rid of the stones so the bile can flow. And this bile is really magical fluid, and it turns cancerous cells into healthy ones.
Right.
And it goes to the acid and alkalizes it. And it's just a magical fluid that it needs to flow, and it can't flow if it's blocked with all these stones.
Yes.
And we have like thousands of them we don't realize.
Yes.
And I've lost count how many liver cleanses I've done, but I've been doing it every month. And
Wow.
I used to do them twice a month when I learned it was
Wow.
too much.
Wow.
So I stopped and did it once a month.
Okay.
And then I got this book, the 2012 edition of the liver cleanse, the gallbladder and liver cleanse by Andreas Moritz, Moritz. He's got a free PDF, but
Yeah.
the book is much better. He wrote a book with twice as much information, and it shows you it clears your skin, and
Well, and
everything.
our gut and our liver is everything to our
Right.
mind and our mental, right? And so when
Right.
we don't feel good in our gut and our system, you're not going to get the powerful thoughts that you need for
Right.
taking on your higher
that's
conscious.
the gut. That's why they say your gut instinct, and
Yeah.
you have a mind in your gut, and you have to be doing this to detox so your liver can do the job it needs to do and clean the blood and clean the everything. It's just it's amazing.
Yes.
I realized how important it was when I came onto it, and it's really funny how I came onto this. I was at a Shasta conference with a friend of mine, Gavin Mell, Mehl, and we're sitting at a table, and usually people recognize me when we do these conferences, and they come over to the table, and I thought this person was coming to recognize me, but it was Gavin, and it was about his liver YouTube video channel, and he was thanking him, and I was like, what? He didn't even tell me about this. What is this? And so I got interested, and I looked into it, and wow, I was really impressed and amazed how important it was, and I was inspired to start doing them and learn about it, and because I hadn't done it. I've done liver cleanses before, but not this way. I did it the easy, cheap, not the cheap way, but I cheated ways, by taking silymarin, a milk thistle extract. And I mean, if you're lazy and you can't do this and it's too much for you, at least do that once a
Right.
year,
Yeah.
because you have to
Something.
do a liver cleanse once a year.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. It's just a good preventative, as well as obviously maintenance is good. But yeah, living well is what we want to be here for. And so, okay, so what other tricks do you have up your
Oh,
sleeve?
you know what? We live in a radioactive world,
Yes.
and oil pulling is so important.
Oh,
Coconut
yes.
oil pulling. I suggest people do coconut oil pulling. I can't do it for 20 minutes like they want, because I produce a lot of saliva and dribble on myself, and so I do it for 5 minutes. I take a tablespoon of coconut oil. I actually just swig it, a little one, and because I know how to do an ounce, and I swish it in my mouth for 5 minutes, and then I spit it out in the garbage can, because you don't want to go down the drain and it gets cold and hard and clogs your drain. So you have to boil water to clear your drain if you do that. But I do it for 5 minutes, spit it out, and I do it again. 4 times in a row, so it adds up to 20 minutes, and it's a much better oil pull because it turns out there's 3 miles of dental tubule bacteria that's a lipid base of fat, and you can draw that out magnetically by swishing your mouth with coconut oil, and it goes into the coconut oil. So treat the coconut oil. Don't swallow because it's toxic, hazardous waste, and you spit it in the garbage can. Make sure the animals don't eat it or lick it, and spitting it on the floor or whatever. And it's the you start to shine. Your skin starts to shine. Your girlfriends are going to ask you, "What are you doing, girl?" You know, you're shining. You know. And it really makes a big difference. It's a great. We're radioactive and we don't realize it.
And a lot of us still have mercury in our mouths from these
Right.
fillings, right? And so that's helping to
Thank
pull
you
that.
for saying that because
Okay.
I went to a dentist that specialized in removing these.
Oh, I
You
need
know,
that.
You have to do that. You have to because you're ingesting this mercury.
Right.
These amalgams are mercury, and not just silver, but it's mercury too. And it does cause damage, you know, and you're ingesting it. Everything you put through your mouth is input, you know, input. So you have to make sure you take them out. I had them, the dentist I used, she took a very powerful magnet and she reversed the charge on them so it would drill out. And then she drilled it out with a HEPA vacuum because even the vapors are toxic when they're drilling
Sure.
it out.
Yes.
And they got it all out, and then they put new crown or whatever.
They put
you
whatever,
know.
but it's not mercury.
Yeah, but it's not mercury. It's a ceramic.
Yeah.
So, but you know, don't ever embalm a dead tooth in your head by getting a root canal because it turns out whatever side of your body it's on, you're going to get breast cancer, and it's because there's 3 miles of bacteria in each tooth. Weston Price did an experiment with Hal Huggins. You can go to halhuggins.com, Huggins, and they did an experiment in Ohio, and they killed 600 rabbits by putting just one tooth, the same tooth, under the skin, and it gave a rabbit a heart attack. They took it out, put another one.
Wow.
They stopped at 600. They would have kept on killing the rabbits. They stopped at
But
600.
they're like, why?
Well,
We need
to show you
yeah.
why the dentist doesn't give you your tooth back. That's why bites are so toxic, is because you're getting that bacteria in your skin, in the bloodstream. So
Wow.
it's important to oil pull, to pull these, just imagine 3 miles tunnels in each tooth. So however many teeth you have left, multiplied
Yeah.
by 3 miles,
That's how
of
much is
bacteria.
in our system.
And we have to oil pull to get it out. And once you do, you start getting fresh kissing breath. Then you're ready to French kiss somebody and mix,
Pucker up. Yes.
tongues and, and, because you want a fresh kiss. You don't want to taste somebody's
No.
bacteria and gut and whatever. And actually it's just so much healthier because you're getting rid of all these toxins, and it shows because it's skin. You can tell what toxins you have when you get pimples on your arm and face and,
Yeah, it
and
comes out through
skin.
our
It comes
skin.
because our body's trying to get rid of it. Our body knows what to do, but we're our worst enemy and stop that process from happening when we clog and
just
don't let it
clog it up.
flow.
Yep.
We can't have any
It's
blockages.
just like an oil change on your car, if you will. If you're not
Yeah.
changing that car's not going to run.
Well, when I go to the Jiffy Lube and have my oil change, I tell them leave the drain plug open and the filter off and flush it with a fresh quart of oil. And then I bend down and I look, and I love it when I see it go from dark to light. Because even when they clean your oil and give you fresh oil and they don't flush it like that, it's still dirty at the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
And so you're flushing. This flushing is what's amazing, is cleaning all
Yeah.
the toxins out. My engines last forever.
Right.
And we're an engine, and we have to last forever, and we have to flush
It's our vessel.
our system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, very good. I love all these tricks. My goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of this.
Thank
And,
you. I could talk forever.
I know. I can listen
Here.
to you forever. So, I love the experiences you've had.
Mm-hmm.
You've lived in Iran. You've lived in L.A. You said for
Right, I lived
8
in Santa
years.
Monica.
Santa Monica.
Yeah, it
you
was
were in
beautiful.
the whole Hollywood or film
Right.
industry.
Hollyweird.
If you will. Hollyweird.
Yeah,
Yes.
I went to the parties. I saw Baphomet statues, and I saw the weird things happening
So,
on. And
so what we're hearing about now in
it
the
is.
news,
I was invited to.
are-
I don't know if it's legal for me to say names,
Right.
but I was invited to have sex with famous people and this
Oh,
and
wow.
that. Thank God
You
I
lived it. Yeah.
had girlfriends and didn't go and didn't
to go
wanna-
that route.
just I
You're like,
knew.
no, I'm not gonna, now go down. Yes,
Yeah.
because it could be used against you for sure, and that's what's
Yeah.
happening. And unfortunately, I'm definitely blessed I never went down that road as well. And but yes, so where are we going? What's the future hold in your opinion?
Oh my God, we are so lucky.
Yes.
We don't realize it, but
Are we in the greatest time?
this is the best. We have all promised to come back here
Yeah.
to fight this fight. And,
Yeah.
and Deep State is going down. They're going down fighting and doing as much damage as they can, but
Yeah.
it's done. And
Yeah.
I'm really happy that I was a whistleblower and part of this
That's
movement.
right. Tell us a little more about that.
Just, well, magical things have happened, crazy things have happened to me where I've met time travelers and people in control now that came back and found me in the past. And I talked to them, and I didn't realize they were time traveling at the time until I saw pictures of them, and I realized that they were older than they were. And they're famous people that you all know. And I just don't want to, it sounds
Right.
just too crazy for me
Right,
to tell you
right,
the
right.
story. But I'm just telling you, no doubt about it, they are doing an operation, and it's to bring down the deep state, and it's a world thing.
Yes.
And the clues I'll give you, there's 209 BRICS nations that are using gold-backed currency, and we're going through Nasara. We're having a quantum financial reset. We have our rainbow currency ready to go.
Right.
They've used us as slaves, the
Yes.
banks, where our
For
birth
centuries.
certificates have been on the stock exchange. They've been using us and
Yes.
getting money, and we're all worth millions of dollars that we're
Yes.
about to get access to. And
The
they're
quantum
right.
financial
The quantum
system
financial
is
reset's
here.
here.
That's
And
Nasara Jasara.
That's Nasara is equals
Yeah.
BRICS and Jasara and everything. And
Yes.
we're going to get access to these millions, and they're going to know if you're a good person or a bad person
Mm-hmm.
because we're working with the good aliens
It'll
that
be
they
based
are.
on merit and
Right.
how you are as a human.
Right.
Yes.
And we'll get our quantum phone and a quantum
Yeah.
laptop, and it'll be your bank
And
and
an appointment to a med bed.
an appointment to the med bed that'll cure all the things that are wrong with us and give us the best us and reverse age us even.
And so tell me this, if we're gonna have access to these med beds, will there be a reason to do anything else like liver cleanses and that kind of thing?
Well, I met Charlotte Gerson, who, Dr. Max Gerson cured cancer in 1928. He was a Jewish Nazi doctor, and they killed him, after he cured cancer. And they poisoned him the year before, but he cured himself. And then the next time they poisoned him, they used so much that he couldn't cure himself. But he had to redo his work, life's work. And so his daughter brought that to America. And basically she told me that it was curing cancer in America is illegal. They can only use chemotherapy, radiation, or surgery.
Of course.
And then they legalized marijuana oil, which really works. The Rick Simpson oil you need to use. And because there's videos on YouTube, you can watch the marijuana killing the cancerous cells right there on YouTube. And then, so she has an office in San Diego, and she gets on the trolley and goes across the border to Mexico, where a clinic is, where she can cure them. And she laughed and she said, all they're doing is a raw food diet. And then they're doing 15-minute-a-day coffee enemas. And the coffee is stimulating the gallbladder to produce an enzyme that fights cancer. So then she says, but people have to stick to this diet and be healthy because they think, okay, now I'm cured, and they go and they start. See, you can't solve problems with the same type of thinking that got you into these problems, You have to change the way you're thinking and
Exactly.
doing. So you have to change your diet. You have to.
Yes.
It's all about your diet and what you're putting in your body because
Yes.
that's, poison in, poison out,
At the end of the day, yes.
Right.
And then that food that we've been eating for all these last decades have been
Right.
ingested with pesticides and
Right.
and different things that just
Yeah.
are
And we have parasites, really
the
cancerous parasites,
huge.
see.
That's the huge thing that
It
people
is.
just aren't aware of.
They don't realize it. It makes your skin crawl,
Yeah, it really does.
Because they're like,
to know that that's
Yeah.
inside of us.
it is. And, I just did a foot cleanse, and surprisingly, there was, thank God I had just a little one came
Right.
out, but I was looking people next to me, and there were big worms coming out. But I was clean. For a guy, he says I'm clean. So, but I'm always detoxing, and you have to do these different things to keep healthy and
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah. So many things that we can do to prevent the illness in this world, but
Right.
many things to be excited about.
Yes.
We are entering the greatest awakening of all time in human
Yes.
history. We all chose to be here at this time to witness.
Right.
And I'm so glad that I met you to help me through that transition as well, to understand with your knowledge and experience and who you know in this world. It's always nice to have.
It's important to read these things they want to push us, because the
Yeah.
medical industry does not. It's an industry. It's a medical industrial complex, and they follow the standard of care, which means making money for the hospital.
100%.
And if the doctors don't follow that and use a natural therapy,
Right.
they will lose their license because they're not making money for the hospital, because it's
Right.
cheap to cure these things. But they don't want to cure people. They want them to keep coming back. We're going to
Right.
try some of these, then we're going to put you on these. And why? My question is, why do doctors get thousands of dollars for these cheap drugs, for people to take these drugs? And the pharmaceutical companies, they train. They're basically cheerleaders for the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
When you look into it deeply, you realize that it was really the Rockefellers that got into medicine in the 20s and 30s, and they changed everything from a natural to petroleum-based products. That's why you can't use products with white pure petroleum, because it inhibits your natural emollients. That's why chapsticks make your lips crack, because there's white petroleum in there. You have to use natural things like coconut oil and olive oil or sesame oil or whatever oil,
Right.
And our oils are the most precious oils. And I don't wash my face. I mean, when I go to bed, I just use hot water, maybe, and I leave those oils on my skin, and then I shave in the morning because I asked my cousin what he was doing, and he said, "You promise not to laugh," and because he had the best skin, he says, "I don't do anything. I don't do anything."
Yeah.
He says, "I leave my oils on." It's like, wow, you have the best skin. He's like the healthiest guy, and big giant guy.
And you're
he's
lucky
funny.
because you're a male, so you don't have to
Right.
put on the makeup to
Right,
wash your
right,
skin. So
right.
yes,
That was the
you have
worst.
that advantage.
Right. I had to, when I was modeling, they wanted me to wear makeup. I had this clay that I would use. I would use clay if I had to. If I was shining in the camera, I'd say, I brought my own clay. So they didn't like me. I was the worst model. I wouldn't let them cut my hair or dye anything. Dyes make your hair, put poison in you. Nail polish puts the poison in you. All these things put the poison in you, these chemicals. There's a natural way to do everything. You can use henna. You can use natural products to, you just Google natural thing for whatever
Whatever
you're
it is
doing.
that you're doing.
Natural cure for whatever, or natural product for. Just
Yeah.
Google, and that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And we have to use these computers in our hands and our phone,
Yes. Yes, I love it. I love all of this. It's such a resource knowing you, and just knowing that you have come from many experiences and backgrounds to be credible enough to share this information, and your wisdom is gold. So I appreciate.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
You've inspired me
Takes
now
one to know
to
one.
definitely do this lever cleanse, and to definitely look into more natural products for whatever it is that
Right.
I'm doing.
Right. I forgot to carry on about
what was it?
When we read the bioweapon they were trying to
Yes.
push on us. When you look at the patent, it tells you what it is.
Yes, because the
And you-
vax was a patent.
Right,
Let's
and
get
it
that out
wasn't.
there.
It wasn't even a vaccination. It was mRNA therapy, and I thought
Right.
it was messenger RNA, but it's mod. It's modified.
Modified
RNA,
RNA.
and it changes our DNA, and so that's a
is what they wanted to
transhuman
do.
agenda. And then there's a chip in there that makes you a cell phone tower, and you can find yourself on your phone as a link, for internet, and even the cemeteries, it's still going on. The people who die from the vax, their body is still a cell phone tower in the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
And you can see it on your phone. And how you detox these things, besides the med bed
Yes.
coming up, is you want to stop the cytokine production of these spike proteins and graphene oxide and hydroxide that are the razor blades in your blood by taking NAC, acetylcysteine, which helps your body produce glutathione, which fights this and is a scavenger and takes the heavy metals out. You can also use EDTA, chelation, and that takes the heavy metals out, which is really what is going on. These are reforming in your body and stealing the iron out of your blood even to become more powerful and bigger, and they're
So
and
that's
it's
that
causing
radiation.
clotting, and also the chip is working with the 5G. They can trigger you, and that's what this Marburg is. When they have these, when they trigger, I think it's 18 gigahertz, it triggers the Marburg. So the poison's only in the jab. There's no such thing as getting germs in the air and wearing masks, and masks kill. They cause acidosis and sepsis, acidification of the body, which kills you. And it also causes bacterial pneumonia. So many people were dying during the Spanish flu wearing masks that they made a law, not that they couldn't wear masks, because masks kill. Even Fauci co-wrote a paper on how masks kill, but he lies and says, right, has to toe the line and says, no. But you can Google these things and find it, and so those are the two ways to stop it. And then also you have to take, so I said NAC and EDTA. And then other things to do are you get a hot bath with baking soda. I put a cup of baking soda, a cup of borax, 20 mule team borax, and a cup of sea salt. And get a black light, and you can see what comes after you after your bath.
Oh, wow.
It pulls everything out, and it really makes you clean. It pulls the junk out of you. So doing these things, and my friend Dr. Nicola says, I have a FRI sauna, and the people who use these saunas have the cleanest blood because it really is getting in there and cleaning the blood. Doing sauna, you're sweating all the toxins out.
And all that, yeah.
Yeah, so those are the best
good
things.
tips.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you remembered that, because that was one of my
Yes.
questions for you, for all the people that are regretting getting the jab,
Right.
or even
And
that
stop
did
getting
get
them.
it, and stop
Stop
getting
getting
them.
them.
It
They're
was a
not good for you.
bioweapon made to
Read the
depopulate
patent.
and kill us. And read the patent.
They were trying to hide it you for 75 years, but the courts won, and they had to show you. But people just still don't look.
Right. And
See,
that's why we're watching a movie right now.
and
to
we
wake
put our
people up.
trust in these regulatory agencies,
Yes.
thinking that they're going to help us and protect us, but they have their best money interests in mind.
It's not us in mind. They will.
Yeah.
They don't care at all about humans.
Yeah.
And so yes, and we are seeing it. We are witnesses to it on a daily basis. But what we want to just share is that we are headed for the best times, and regardless of what we've gone through in the last few years,
Yes.
it is all for a reason, and that reason is now. And we are going to be just lifted with everybody. We're going to see each other as one. There's going to be 1,000 years of peace.
Right.
And we have something to look forward to. And
We
so
sure
every
do.
day, everybody should be waking up and saying, hey, you are lucky to be alive. And if you're hanging on by a thread, like my dad with ALS now because of the vax,
wow.
I'm telling him, hold on, because
Yeah.
we have
Hang
those
in
med
there.
beds.
No
we
doubt.
have the Nasara coming. It's here. It's just a matter of when that is going to go off, right?
It is great.
So yes,
That's
I'm
great.
so glad we're here together, sharing this wonderful information with like minds, and really getting this information out to all those that need it.
Thank you for this opportunity to
Absolutely, Eric.
share.
Thank you.